All right, people, welcome back. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel, talking about music and politics, but mostly politics and stuff like that. It's a slow day in the world of classic rock, as it usually is. And I'm here uh, putting out some content here, and thanks for being here and doing what I do in real time for a few real people just like you there, and here, like me. Okay. All right. Pointing done. Didn't your mom ever tell? Shut up. Okay. My mom told me a lot of things. I listened most of the time. And the pointing thing, I don't think was one of those, but you never know. Maybe she did. Okay. So yesterday I did this video about John Bon Jovi. He was spotted at a No Kings rally. The rock media didn't cover it at all. Jeez, I wonder why. Just like after the Charlie Kirk assassination, it was very quiet, and people were saying, well, what do you expect them to do? I don't know. When Ruth Bader Ginsburg died of natural causes, it was a big story in the rock media. Everybody was praising RBG. Ruth Bader. Yeah, okay, RBG, right? Sounds like a weapon. It was. It was a weapon against our Constitution. I'm here all week, folks. Don't forget, buy me a coffee. If you like any of these lines, it might be worth one coffee, right? If not, I get it, all right? It's getting a little better out there. Gas prices continue to go down. So here's the deal, right? So if you're at the No Kings and you're supporting it, here are some of the things that you are against, right? Or for, depending on what it is. So you're for human trafficking if you go to No Kings. You are. You're for drug trafficking, okay? Because the so-called king is trying to put a stop to those things. Now, granted, I'm a little bit leery of blowing up boats, okay? I don't know. That looks a little extreme. Maybe after a couple of boats, you would think they'd stop, but I don't know. If you had some kind of a war declaration, but here's the punchline to that, and I talked about this in the last video. No president ever gets an authorization to go to war. And if you declare a country as like an enemy, right? And in this case, I think it would be Venezuela, but it could be a number of other countries. Because of what they've done to our country through drug trafficking and to some degree human trafficking. If you get that war declaration, what does that enable you to do at that point? Are they enemy combatants? You know, we could get into all the fuzzy areas, but this video isn't about that, and you may disagree. You may be more libertarian, and I have empathy and sympathy and all that for libertarians, believe me. Believe me, that I can tell you. But my point is getting back to what No Kings is all about. So what else does No Kings support by default? They don't really support parental rights. They support the usurpation of those rights via the state saying, hey, your son came home and he's not happy being a boy. So we're gonna do some counseling with him and give him some advice. Okay, that's what No Kings support. Right there. You've lost me. Sorry. What other issues do you have? Teachers unions, like they've done a good job educating kids. Government workers, close the damn national parks. You can't go. The people are going to be unemployed. Right. Well, guess what happened during COVID? A whole bunch of people got unemployed because they refused to take the you-know-what, all right? They refused to do it, and they said, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I got my religious exemption here, and they just ignored it. How many violations was that? Bodily autonomy. Oh, you're going to lecture me on bodily autonomy, huh? It's my body, it's my... Well, it only depends on what you're talking about, apparently. One thing over here, and by the way, that's a forced entry. Get that needle away from me, all right? It's my body, it's my choice. If you're with the No Kings, then you're for all of those forcible, mandatey type things that The last guy who was asleep at the wheel and had an auto pen doing most of his work, what did he say? I'm getting very impatient with you people. I'm getting very impatient. I'm going to fall asleep soon, but before I do that, I want to make sure I tell you with this demonic red background behind me that I'm very impatient that you're not lining up at the CVS. We could do it the easy way, or we could do it the hard way. Jawohl, Commandant. It's like, so you're for that. And by the way, John Bon Jovi was a big advocate for all of that stuff. John Bon Jovi has a lot of money. He could probably solve the homeless crisis in New Jersey all by himself, especially if he called his buddy Bruce Springsteen and said, hey, uh, the king isn't going to help us with homelessness, so let's solve it ourselves. Maybe, we'll make him intervene and show what a bad person he is. I bet you Trump would be like, yeah, go ahead. It's your money. Go ahead and do it, right? Because a king would definitely just let you guys do whatever you wanted to do, because that's the sure sign of a king. Um, but those guys won't do it. this is all for this is all theater. This is all like make believe do goodness, the Q-tip crowd. It's time. One guy said to me, Dave, I resemble that remark. And I said, I get it, I get it. Hair coloring is a big deal right now for me, so I get it. But here's the point, though. Just because you look like a Q-tip, you don't have to act like a Q-tip. Get a clue. Not a Q. Oh man, that might be worth another coffee. No, maybe not. So there are a number of other things, and maybe in the comments section, which I cringe to read, but maybe you have some things that No Kings by default supports. All right. They don't support a booming economy. They don't support fair trade, right? They don't support tariffs because tariffs are evil. See, and then I had this one troll tell me about Epstein. It was weird, right? Before Trump took office again, nobody was concerned about what happened to Epstein. Nobody, not one person. But now all of a sudden, well, we know Trump is covering up the Epstein stuff to protect himself. Okay, so we could go back how many presidents? we could Probably not George W. Bush. I can't see him doing that stuff. But Clinton, we already know about Clinton, right? Obama? Come on, people. Well, there's no evidence. No, there's all kinds of other weird things with Barack. So it's weird, right? It's kind of weird. I know that Trump threw the guy out of one of his clubs at one point. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's funny how now that's a concern. You're going to dig this up. The problem for you people, if you dig it up and you find dirt on Trump, which you might, but you're probably not going to find dirt on Trump. I guarantee you there's dirt on all of your heroes, all of your Hollywood buddies, everybody that you love. And we don't know those names for sure, but I can pretty much bet and put a good amount of money down and win that it's all of the people that you idolize, people in the entertainment world. Not saying John Bon Jovi. Somebody made a comment about John's faithfulness to his spouse and all that stuff. He said, look, he even said, I'm Bon Jovi. What do you expect? At least there's a little bit of honesty right there. A little bit of, what do you expect? And my wife, she endured it, and we had an understanding. So I don't know. Most people can't do that and have their marriage stay where it is. But whatever. I'm not going to judge him there. That's not for me to judge. My judgment is from the political angle of all the things that he by default is supporting for showing up at one of these No Kings. So he obviously supports big pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, just check that one off, right? Big military contractors, like I said in the first video, go Raytheon. And nobody thinks that that's like, nobody cares. What is up with people? And by the way, the left wing, like, I don't know, 10 minutes ago, used to believe that, the big pharma and the military industrial complex were kind of a problem. It's about 5 minutes ago. But now, oh no, You know who's in charge, so we hate the things that we used to think were good, and the things that are good we used to hate. It's kind of like everyone became Liz Cheney. It's just, what are you talking about? We don't like healthy things. No, give us the cholesterol. Make America healthy again? No, that's bad. We don't want to be healthy. Give us more Tylenol too. I'm pregnant and I'm going to take a whole jar of Tylenol because it's good. Container, jar, whatever. Um, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take video of myself on TikTok and I'm just going to pop. I should have some Tylenol here and just pop them in, have them coming out of the side. Yeah, I would need more than just coffee after that. Dave, are you saying that Tylenol's not safe? There's no evidence that it's not safe. Yeah, just keep popping it like Pez. It's great. It's Pez candy. It's Tylenol. Well, what do I do for my headaches? I don't know. I don't know. There might be some other thing. I think ibuprofen might still be okay. I don't know. Aspirin, is that from the same family or is it different? I don't know. I don't know. In the old days, they didn't have any of this stuff, and somehow they survived. They had like tree bark. They did. They had like birch bark or something. Used to boil in water. Here, drink this. Probably better for you than taking the Tylenol. I don't know. But getting way off the track here. There are so many other things that these people are against, right? They don't want to see the United States prosper. They don't want to see the country flourish. They don't want to see gas prices go down. They want you to drive a car that will go 300 or 400 miles and you got to plug it in for a couple of hours and maybe it'll. And I get it. Most people don't drive long distances, and electric does sound kind of cool, not having to go to the gas station. But you go somewhere and you got to look for a charger. Look, gas prices have been going down. They've been going down, and where I'm at, it's like 2.79 a gallon, and in some places even lower than that. So, yeah, it's taken a while for that to happen, but it's starting to happen. Interest rates are not for lower interest rates. They want to continue to dump money into circulation, which inflates the currency and causes more inflation. Um, Under Biden, a whole bunch of things happened where you couldn't buy a house and the interest rates were stupid and house prices. I mean, the economy is still trying to teeter over the edge. It's you can't do what we've done over the last few years and then just like flip a switch and have it be better. But the protests are just about what? The fact that he's doing executive orders and they don't like him as a person, and we need to defeat him even if he cures cancer. Peace in the Middle East. And by the way, I think it's probably not going to last, but he did negotiate a deal. He negotiated a deal. We don't want that. We don't want that. We want continued war. We want Halliburton, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, General Dynamics. Those are the people we support. Wow. These are the people in the old days that had pink hair and they would protest war. Now they're out there cheering on war in sort of this default way. If you ask them and say, hey, are you for war in the Middle East? Are you for war between Russia and Ukraine? Yes, we need to send Ukraine more money and more missiles because Russia bad. All right, great. That's what we need to do. And what about us? What about all the homeless people standing around here? Is that a good thing? Well, we're not doing enough for the homeless, and that's because Trump's the president. Okay. Okay. Here's the deal. Like I said, Bruce and John could open up their wallets and start working on the homeless crisis. They could have the John Bon Jovi, Bruce Springsteen Foundation for the homeless. Now, the problem for them is the compassionate people would look at their politics and look at what they're saying and say, normally I might open up my wallet for you, but you're saying some ridiculous things and I don't want to support you. I'll write a check to Samaritan's Purse or somebody who's actually going to do something with the money and, disaster relief or whatever else, help people in need. I mean, I don't know, people. The No Kings thing to me, seems like it's just a troll. It's just a big fat troll, and Orange Man bad, and we got our posters with the orange on it. Oh, that's creative. Look at orange. That's great. They have pinatas of the president that they're smashing, and they're teaching kids. I saw a video where they're actually teaching kids to smash the pinata. You know what? As much as I didn't like Joe Biden, I would have never taught I would have said to my kids, pray for him. All right, pray for him. Pray that, number one, he'll change his mind about the things that he believes right now. And two, that he'll be a good leader for the country. And three, that he'll finish up his term quickly. Not that he would die or anything, that he would just maybe resign. Those are, but no death involved, no smashing of the Joe Biden pinata. No, that's like violent. And but then again, how many abortions has the country done since 1973? Is it like 60? Is it 60 million? Yeah. I don't know. I got all kind of like weirded out. I weirded myself out thinking about that for a second because we could just be under judgment, people. I mean, look, how we do serve a patient God. No sin is too big to be forgiven. But if you look at the Bible as a whole, you see that when a country does such heinous things, oftentimes they're conquered from another country or they're conquered from within, and their people turn on themselves. And this is kind of what's going on right now. And you can attribute it to like mental illness. You can attribute it to a lot of things, but it's spiritual darkness. And the only remedy, honestly, and I know people are going to be mad at me, is Christ. That's the remedy. Jesus Christ. He died for your sins. His grace will set you free. You will become a new creature. You won't change all of your behaviors, but at a point in time, you're going to say to yourself, huh, I gotta do something a little bit different than what I've been doing here. And the reason that I can have compassion on the people who disagree with me, because I listen to Christ, who said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And that was one of the truest statements in the world, is that these people, they don't understand what they're doing. Not just with the politics, but the violence, the imagery. And there is a little on the other side as well. You could say it's my side, but the normal side. I think what's happening is some of those people on the normal side are getting really frustrated with this. They've gotten beaten, and by the way, Jesus took the beating for us, right? We're not supposed to have to take a beating because he already did that for us. But it feels as though we're taking a beating, some of us, and we're tired of it, and we're not Jesus, right? We rely on Jesus for our salvation. And, sometimes what he did is it's kind of like a blueprint, role model for how we're supposed to behave. But we're not Jesus, we're sinners, and it's easy to get frustrated. And it's sinful, but it's not unusual. I think it's a normal human reaction, especially when there's just evil in our midst. And we sit here and we go, notice how these people don't care about it. They don't care about the way people act at these things. I saw footage from this. It's like a bizarro circus. It's just some very weird, and a lot of older white people, mostly boomers, I would say, like advanced boomers, not like me. He's like way down the boomer timeline. I'm just fooling myself here. It's like a Styx song. I'm just fooling myself. Anyway, people, John Bon Jovi doesn't know the extent to what he's involved. I just don't think so. I think he's on a kick. He's on a team. He plays for that team. He doesn't know what the team really stands for. All he knows is that he wants to have friends in the media and in Hollywood and on television and wherever else, the music industry. And that's especially at in the state that he's in his career, the point at which he's at. That's all he's got. He's got to lean on that. His voice isn't what it used to be. Just being honest, I wish him well. It would be cool if, his vocal cords came back. I don't know if they have. Just putting it out there. And at this stage, like many of these classic rock people, does it really matter if the vocal cords come back at this stage? You've done everything you need to do. You can't have a 50 or 60-year career doing this. You're not supposed to. You could have 30 or 40 years, I would say, and then that's probably it, unless you're, like a bass player. You could go on for a lot longer, and your voice isn't out there as much, and you just play bass for someone. Bass is not necessarily an easy instrument to play. I'm just using it as an example. Ask Nathan East, who, by the way, I got to interview like 10 days ago and nobody watched it. So go back through the archives. The nicest man, his son too, Noah, just salt of the earth people, just great people. It was so nice to talk with them. It's kind of like I let them into my life and the sunshine came in. It's like I opened a window and the sun came in. So God bless both of them. And God bless you, right? Even if you don't want to be blessed. Jesus is trying. He's trying to bless you every single day. And you got to let him in. That's all you do. You let him in. You say, I have faith in you because I can't do this myself. I'm a train wreck. And God sees the humility. Who gets justified, by the way? The man who says, have mercy on me, a sinner? Or the guy who says, well, I tithe everything and I cross every T and dot every I? No, it's the person who asks for mercy who is justified before God. And so that's your strategy, mercy. And then you'll get the grace, and the grace is there. You only have to do that much. You're on planet Earth, you're conscious, and so grace. That's what happens. So there you have it, folks. All right, thanks. I was going to say God bless you again, but over and out.